all of the opponent's safe exit cards. So that's first you are stripping the hand, taking all of the safe exit cards away from your opponents, and then the end play comes after that. Let's look at what will be a 4-spade contract. And see if I'm going to have room here. Okay. Can everybody see that one all right? Getting a little low on the horizon down there. Okay. So South, you are declaring 4 spades. And so take a look at this hand and try and get an idea of, you know, what's the situation with your winners and losers, and what you think needs to happen to come to your 10 tricks. All right. Now, the defense is going to start off. This will be pretty simple. We're going to start off with 3 rounds of hearts.
What are we looking at?
Okay. I haven't given you the defender's hands
that's
yet.
the
Okay.
Tees or
tricks.
All right. Yes. Trick 1, trick 2, trick 3.
Ah.
So the opening lead is going to be a heart. Let's say you split your queen jack, and they win the king on your right. And they play the ace. They cash their ace of hearts. And they play a 3rd round of heart. Everybody follows. So the defense has taken 2 heart tricks. And fortunately, the 3rd round of hearts was won by you in the dummy. Thankfully, it didn't get roughed or anything like that. So the hearts are gone, right? Somebody has a 13th heart out there. But all of our hearts are gone after the first 3 tricks. So what does the rest of the hand look like here? Well, we don't have any trump losers, right? We've got a big fit, big 10-card fit with all the big spades. So presumably they will break to 1 and we'll be able to get trumps drawn in 2 rounds. We don't have any diamond losers, right? Because South has a singleton and North has the ace. And so it looks like this contract is going to hang on the club suit, doesn't it? And fortunately, now you're missing king jack. Fortunately, in addition to your ace queen, you also have all the spot cards. So we give you 10, 8, 7 in the dummy and the 9 in your hand. So you actually have everything in the club suit except the king and jack. So our normal approach, and we're making the contract as long as we have only 1 club loser, right? We can afford to lose 1. We just can't afford to lose 2 since we've already lost 2 heart tricks. Well, a double finesse looks awfully good, doesn't it? That's actually 75% play. Our contract is 75% to make if we only need 1 of 2 finesses to work, right? Because we could be on the dummy and play either, you know, play one of these spots, play the 10 or whatever, or small to the 9, whatever, let it ride. If it loses to the jack, we can repeat the finesse and see if the king is onside. Or we don't even have to do it in that order, right? In theory, we could play small to the queen, and if it loses to the king, we could still try to finesse the jack. So it actually doesn't matter whether we finesse for the jack or finesse for the king first. And then the only position where we would not make our contract is if our left-hand opponent held both cards, right? But that's a pretty good proposition. I mean, that certainly is a good game to be in, right? If ultimately all you need is one of two finesses to work, this game is 75% to make. It's certainly a game I want to be in. You actually have a 100% line though. And even if you weren't a standout math student, you will probably grant that a 100% line is better than a 75% line. So the question is, how do we do that? Is anybody developing a plan here?
You trump your diamonds.
All right, well that's going to involve stripping the diamond suit, right? So we've got to be a little bit careful about how we go about this. So we actually don't want to touch clubs early on the hand. And actually, we probably don't want to draw all of our trumps right away. We kind of want to do it within a process. And this should be pretty safe. So remember, we've already eliminated hearts, right? Those are gone. Okay, so you're on dummy. And while you're on dummy, what about starting with the ace? Play your ace of diamonds. Now, the defense has 9 diamonds, right? It should be pretty safe to play some diamonds without anything getting rough. But the good news is, you can actually guarantee that you can't get over rough because we gave you every spot, right? So don't get sloppy and rough with a 3. You know, you can rough with your bigger spots, all right? So what about this? What about play a small diamond and rough with your 8? You can't get over roughed, right? All right. Now, dummy has one more diamond that you need to get stripped out, right? We need to get back to dummy. How do we do that? Well, that we can do with a trump, right? So you're going to be drawing trump along the way. So now play your 3 to the king, queen, or jack, all equals, all right? Play that other diamond, and even if they cover the king or queen, presumably the other diamond honor is out there, so this card is not a winner, right? And go ahead and rough with your 9 to be safe. Now you can attack the club suit, but you've got to be in the dummy to do that, right? All right, so how about now lead your 6 of trump to the queen, and theoretically trumps have all been drawn, right? Let's say they break 2-1, because they're not that likely to break 3-0. So what is the end position? Where are we now? What's left? Well, dummy has these 2 trumps, right? And these 3 clubs. Both red suits are gone. Red suits are also gone from your hand, and you still have these 2 trumps in your hand and those 3 clubs. So the hands are actually mirrored, aren't they? With 2 spades in each hand and 3 clubs in each hand. You have now guaranteed your contract. At least you have guaranteed your contract as long as you don't play a club to the ace. What are we going to do now? Well, play one of your clubs. So let's say you just play the small one to your 9. And your left-hand opponent wins the jack. Are you home?
Yeah. Well, the
Right.
answer is
They
yes.
all right, the opponents have no trumps, right? Somebody has a 13th heart, unless it got pitched along the way somewhere, but we don't think that happened yet, because we think the opponents had to follow to these diamonds. There's a 13th heart out there somewhere. There's still some diamonds out there. Somebody probably started with 5 and someone 4, if the 9 missing diamonds are breaking normally. And then both opponents have some clubs. Your left-hand opponent does not want to be on lead. What do they do now? Well, they can lead a club away from their king and guarantee you 2 club tricks, right? That's the end play. That's probably the thing to do. Pray that your partner has the queen and not declare, so that leading a club away from the king doesn't cost, right? As a defender, I suspect that's what I would do. Or you play a diamond or a heart because you don't want to lead away from your king of clubs, but what have you done in that situation? Now you're giving a rough and slough, right? Because remember that that club's gone and that club's gone. Well, if they lead a heart or a diamond, very simple. Pitch a club from dummy, rough over here, and now you still have your ace, and your queen's not good, but you can rough it. 100% line of play, guaranteed.
Simple.
Oh, wow.
So when we are looking now, obviously, if you end up trying to orchestrate an end play in no trump, all you can have is an end play, right? I mean, and then you've got to hope that that works, that you have that the person has nothing left to lead except the suit that you want them to break for you. In a suit contract, the strip and end play could lead to someone leading away from their honor. But you also have that added bonus of, if they don't do that, maybe they give you a rough and slough, which is just as good. Now, the thing with the rough and slough is that you've got to have at least 1 trump in each hand to pull that off, right? So, like here, you actually had 2 spades left in the dummy and 2 in your hand. But as long as you had at least 1 trump remaining in each hand, let's say you did the old trump check. You couldn't remember if you got them all drawn. Like, I better do a trump check. Make sure there aren't any lurkers. You can actually get away with that here. You know, as you play another round of trump before you play on clubs, you're like, oh, I thought there was one out there. I guess not. Well, you can survive the unnecessary trump check as long as you still have 1 left in each hand, because you have to have that ability to take a pitch from one hand and rough in the other, right? So. Pretty slick, isn't it? Now I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the defender's hands here, and and once you get to see your opponent's hands, I will ask you a question. All right. So your left-hand opponent theoretically made the best opening lead, right? A heart was safe, and they hit their partner's honors over there with the ace king of hearts. So obviously, if this person had led away from their king jack of clubs, we don't even have a story, do we? then your contract is made for you rather easily.
By the way, could we have a class on leads, please?
Leads?
Or 2? Or
Yeah,
3?
we can do leads. Yeah, we haven't done a lot on a ton on defense, so
Thank you.
we can definitely do that. Now, after the opening heart lead, and East wins the opening lead, do you see anything different that could happen here that would set this contract?
Yeah, don't make your queen of hearts good.
So the defense actually made a mistake here, didn't they? What happens if he switches to a club? right, well, you've got to put in one of your honors, right, or your 9, right? Let's say they win the heart and switch to a club.